The Biden administration is expanding efforts to reunite families separated under the Trump administration's immigration policies. Despite progress, hundreds of migrant children still remain separated from their parents. The Biden administration now says it will allow those families to get back together in this country and then look for legal ways for them to stay. Mireya Villarreal spoke to a father in Ohio who did get his daughter back in 2018 after a very harrowing ordeal.
Daniel Paz and his daughter Angie have been living in Ohio nearly 3 years after crossing the border.
Is this what you expected when you decided to come to America?
No, because it's, you know, like, I thought that when they hear my problem and they see that was a real problem and I was coming with my daughter, they're gonna help me.
Did you know that there was a possibility you would be separated from your family, from your children?
No.
In 2018, they fled Honduras, fearing for their lives. But as soon as they arrived in Texas, they were detained and heard rumors of being separated.
I took a pen to try to prepare my daughter if that happened. And I start to write the phone number of my father in all her body and the phone number of my wife in all her body. So if somebody take her.
And your daughter is 7 years old. How are you explaining this to her?
She cried, she was afraid, she was shaking. But I explained her, I tell her, look, don't worry. I'm gonna look for you. I'm gonna find you, and you're gonna be good, don't worry.
Their separation took place during the Trump administration's zero-tolerance policy. Overall, it's estimated that more than 5,000 children were separated from their parents. Paz and his daughter were reunited after less than 2 months. That's because when a court order forced the government to bring families back together, Paz was still detained in the U.S., so the government had a record of where he and his daughter were. Unlike hundreds of others, he hadn't yet been deported. But the parents of 506 children still can't be found, and only about 1/3 of those parents are thought to be living right here in the U.S. Paz says there is another factor complicating reunifications now. He says many parents feel their children are better off in the U.S. without them.
If I go back to my country, I lose my life. I lose the life of my kids. They're gonna disappear us. Y por eso yo luché por llegar aquí, para tener a mi familia a salvo.
You're saying that these parents are so scared that they would much rather be separated. I'll stay in my home country, and the kids stay in the U.S.
They keep running for their lives in that countries. They keep running always for their lives, trying to be safe.
Paz believes he is one of the lucky ones, but he still worries about the long-term effects on his family.
When they take my daughter from me, they give me another person back. They didn't give me back my daughter. Angeline was completely different.
To give you some context this morning on why so many of these families come here to the U.S., we took a look at a study from Doctors Without Borders from 2018 that spoke with migrants from Honduras, El Salvador, and Guatemala. 2/3 of the people they spoke with said they had experienced either kidnapping, murder, or the disappearance of a relative in those countries, highlighting, obviously, how dire the situation is to them. Gayle?
Mireya, thank you so much. And dire is the word, guys. We went to the border at the time, and the majority of the people there came because they were afraid and they're looking for better lives. Nobody in this room would accept being separated from their children.
No.
These young kids who were separated from their children, and we, the United States government, did that. Every time I think about that, it makes my blood boil.
You don't make such a dangerous journey
unless
what you're leaving is even worse.
Yes.
Yeah,
were there some bad actors in the crowd? Probably. But that was certainly not the majority.
And
certainly not the majority.
What I'm really struck by in Mireya's report is that father says the daughter he got back is not the same.
How could they be, Anthony?
No, I know, but that's heartbreaking.
Heartbreaking is right.
You did that.